Welcome back to Fox Netball. We're in Sydney for the minor semi-final between the Giants and the Collingwood Magpies, whose season will be over and whose will keep their alive to take on the Melbourne Vixens in the prelim in just a week's time. Sam Pullman and Caitlin Bassett joining me in commentary for this game. But before we get to that, Caitlin is joined by a very special little legend. As you know, over the course of the season, Woolworths have been running fresh warm-ups, an initiative aimed to inspire and educate our Woolworths Net Set Go kids to warm up right, both physically and nutritionally. So many amazing entries from Woolworths Net Set Go kids across Australia. And one of the lucky winners is in the building and with Caitlin right now.
That's right, Kath. I'm here with Mia. Mia, you just got to run out with the players. How cool was that?
It was amazing, and I got to run out with Joe.
With Joe? And tell us, what do you love most about playing Woolworths Net Set Go?
I get to play with my friends, and it's really fun.
That's awesome. And Mum, tell us, how important is it to get kids involved with programs like Woolworths Net Set Go?
I mean, it's so important, and even for Mia, especially with her disability, for us it's finding something that's inclusive, and Net Set Go's allowed her to play without any limits, and it's been amazing for Mia.
Well, thanks so much for joining us, guys. We hope you enjoy the game. We're all ready for the action down here. Kath, are you? Absolutely,
we are. Thank you, Caitlin, and good on Woolies for running the Woolworths Net Set Go program to give little Mia and kids like that a once-in-a-lifetime experience. Speaking of Woolies, let's get a reminder of how the teams will line up in this minor semi-final as we take a look at the Woolworths team cards. Joe Harton and Dwyer in the shooting circle for the Giants, and no surprises through the midcourt. Hay, Price, Parmenter, Branley and McDonald in defence. And then Julie Fitzgerald, Scott Sliger, Moore and Leatherborough on the bench. How much we see them, we don't know.
And the Magpies welcome back with warm and supportive hands with Brazel, Ward and Lynn back, and their coach Nicole Richardson back in their lineup. So Brazel and Ward are crucial in this lineup when we talk about delaying that Giants' really exciting attack end and getting hands on ball.
Yep, so many players that really have a big job on their hands, and there's one face that you can see in the background having a chat. The final words to her Giants. That's the captain, Joe Harton, has got a very big job to play. The beauty for the Giants is she loves these moments, Sam Pullman, doesn't she?
She's experienced and loves to show her leadership style by standing up and supporting her team in big moments. This is a big occasion. Players will naturally be really nervous, so they need to really look around and see a supportive, really great orange crowd here in New South Wales, but just take a breath and remember that they have a job to do.
Collingwood Magpies coming out onto court. There's Kelsey Brown in the middle, and she'll have a big job on her hands up against Amy Parmenter. And listen to the roar for the Giants. Their home side knows this is the last opportunity they will get to see them. If they win, they'll head to Melbourne next week. And if they continue to, they'll be in Perth the week after for that grand final against the West Coast Fever. We know they are the first team through to the big dance. Well, can't talk about how big an occasion this is. And certainly for the Magpies to have all their stars back is a very big step in the right direction. Here comes beautiful Billy. She is a mad Giants fan, so much so recently did her school project on one of the Giants defenders, April Branley. When she had to think of a female role model, she couldn't go past netball and April Branley. So what a moment for Billy to be able to bring the ball out and give it to Molly Jovic. That probably hurt her a little bit to give it to a Magpie, but she's out on the court and she's part of the minors semi-final. As it starts already, a couple of players on the floor. Well, isn't that a sign of things to come? All 14 players on court right now will be putting their bodies on the line every time they take a ball. It is do or die, the loser. All done for season 2022. Jovic wants to go to Nelson, can't get a clear path. Well, it was three Giants in the way. Firstly, Parmenter, Branley, and then McDonald with the pickup.
Offside, go attack.
Good start for the Giants, Sam.
That's a huge win so early, and we can feel the intensity in this game already, which is so expected. This is the game you want to play in as a player. This is the moment you want to be on court for.
Well, the Giants on the board first. And already a break in play. There's the hands from Parmenta through the hands of Branley as well. And then McDonald picks it up. All going the right way. Early days for the Giants. Parmenta. Price. All the way back to McDonald. Parmenta. Swing ball to Branley. Joe Harden is a long way from home. And it's turned over now the other way, the way of the Magpies. Great defensive pressure through the middle from the Magpies.
I am loving this defensive game so far, Coxie. The pressure that both teams need to create early on, we're seeing the results in that in terms of possession and gain on ball. It's getting down the other end and scoring from it.
That used to be the easy part. It's not anymore. Finally, Nelson with the ball right where she wants it under the post, gets the Magpies on the score sheet. And she'll have a big game on her hands too, Shimona Nelson.
She does, but I've liked how vocal she has been already. Look at the tussle between her and McDonald already. She is key to that attack line, and she said in pre-game, I need to play my game, stay in my head.
Yeah, Jamie Lee Price very close. Garvin, well, talking a big game, Sophie Garvin needs to shoot that. She needs to get confident early because she needs to be a part of this game. She cannot play that wing attack role. That's what she's got to do, Sophie Garvin. 2-1, the Magpies taking control back after spilling the beans in the very first passage of play. Parmenta to Branley. Long ball finds Dwyer. Oh, and the vision. Well, smart work. She walked to the corner, split the defenders. Julie Fitzgerald likes it. I'm pretty sure that was a little nod. We'll take that as a happy Julie Fitzgerald. Quick play here from the Collingwood Magpies. Yeah, placement not where it needed to be. Shimona Nelson just telling Jovic exactly where she wants that ball in the air. And again, the hand up, the big take, and the finish.
Break, wing defense.
Branley again was a lot of the ball coming through the defence and the assist from April Branley. And it comes from in line with the centre circle. Well, talk about early confidence and vision too.
That's an impressive start. Have a look at this ball and the vision from April Branley on the Harvey Norman replay. She identified that the last couple of plays Magpies defenders have been sitting off, and if you sit off, we're going to make you pay.
Clearly that's been a chat in the Giants because they've kept their eye on it. They've looked long and that's opened up a couple of times. So that's an area the Magpies have certainly got to close up now. They've been burnt on it twice.
Well, and have a look at the setup on Dwyer. She's sitting really deep, and I wonder if Ward coming back from COVID, she's not on her in terms of one-on-one tight. So Giants really smart to strategically be opening that up this early in the game.
So you think Ward's is struggling a little bit? No, she's maybe got to be a bit more energy efficient early days.
You got to start building the pressure. So even if she can only give 10 minutes to this team, I would be shutting Dwyer out of the game. One-on-one hard defense, come off, take a sit on the bench, have a break, then come back in if you need to. But you don't want this game or the pressure and the confidence of this Giants attack end.
Big rebound from Sophie Dwyer and she finishes. Yeah, you're right, Jodie Ann Ward's so important to this side. She's the leader in their gains, their intercepts and their defensive rebounds. So ideally she's on the court, but not if she can't do her job. Well, speaking of not being able to do your job, Jovic couldn't keep that in. Ball way too far out in front of her. So another opportunity here for the Giants. Branley gets on with the job. Well, she's taken 3 passes, and look how quickly the Giants have made their way down court. The steely reserve of the captain. Look at that face. Absolute cool, calm and collected vibes coming from Joe Harden. Dwyer, Jamie Lee Price. Harton outside the circle. Well, that's what you asked for, a little bit more niggle, but probably without the penalty from Ward.
And she just needs to use her footwork to continue to adjust.
Yeah, tough one, those steps, isn't it? Because as an experienced player, you feel like you just don't step anymore. Obviously, it looks a bit like a carry probably to the umpire.
Well, don't and shouldn't, but you play this game to the umpire. So Magpies need to take an advantage of this possession.
Yeah, again, Sophie Garvin just happy to pass the ball out and then just wander into the circle. It's almost like she's expecting it to go to Nelson every time.
This Giants defence end are really good. You need to make Branley accountable. So if you just plot and, you know, don't take her anywhere, she'll sit back, have a fly, she'll help out Tilly McDonald back. You got to make her accountable and you got to do it early.
Agreed. Garvin has got to inject herself in this game to take the pressure off Nelson. For no other reason, really. Overcooked the pass there. There she is. Takes a good drive, Sophie Garvin. That is exactly what they will need from her. And she's 2 from 2 to start, so no issue with the accuracy once she gets the ball in her hand. Hey, over the top to Price. Harton out of the circle again. Really seeing good rotation and balance inside this Giant circle. Seen that a lot this season, which makes them dangerous. Dwyer, a bit too much on it. That's her second miss of the game. No misses for Jo Harton, the captain. 5 from 5. Brown. Long ball to Brazel. Was that the right option? Probably not when Ward was right in front of her. Another ball the way of the Giants' defence end. And again, those long clearance balls really doing the job for them so far. And the 1-2, Dwyer and Harton.
Wow, the energy from this Giants. Have a look at this replay. Great defensive effort from Maddie Hay, but for me, it's the backup. There was only orange on that. So great Harvey Norman replay to show that Giants are that team that's getting onto everything.
In terms of energy, in terms of what the play looks like so far, it feels like the Giants are up by a lot more than just the 1 goal, Sam.
And when you look at that scoreline, I would say that too, that Giants are really dominating just by those easy plays that they're finding. Have a look at this Harvey Norman replay. A little bit of a clash there on the ground, but that's what we'd expect in finals netball as Price gets another touch on the ball. So Collingwood just need to start placing this ball a little bit better and having multiple leads in the Magpies attack end. As Tilly McDonald, another tip from Giants. This defence end has started well and confident early in this match.
Well, it has. So what does the attack line need to do? Caitlin Bassett, one of the best attackers in the game, is on the sideline. Caitlin Bassett, what do you want to see from the Magpies to just make it a little bit slicker here and out of the hands of the Giants' defence?
Yeah, look, I think it's just a little bit of execution. There's a few balls that have fallen short or been overcooked in that attacking line. Shimona Nelson is such a huge target, but you've got to put it in the right place for her to snap that ball in, and I think the defenders of the Giants are just getting a few hands in there.
Yeah, hands in is enough, isn't it? Just disrupts the play, even if they don't end up with the perfect turnover. Oh, Jodie and Ward! The sneaks! And the captain is not happy. The argument with the umpire is that it hadn't been set. She was still collecting the ball. So that was Jo Harton's discussion just then. You saw her having a chat with the umpire. The umpire's on duty, Tara Warner and Bronwyn Adams today. A big job for them as well to contain these 14 athletes fighting to keep their seasons alive. Well, we'll have another look at that one on the Harvey Norman replay in a moment. Garvin. There is the siren for the start of the Power 5. Let's have a little look here. So there's a push coming. Looked like Jo Harton had hands on. Yeah, interesting call. What do you make of that, Sam?
Oh, I'm glad I'm not an umpire in that moment, having the look of what Jo Harton gave her, but it's a possession win for Magpies and they need to make sure that they score off it.
Here's an HCF timeout. It's gone the way of the Collingwood Magpies. Let's get down and have a listen to their head coach, the big Magpie, Nicole Richardson.
Wait for them to connect to shimmy, right? Rather we throw the ball and we switch off for that split second, so stay focused that whole time and we just chase down loose balls. Great work in attack, great movement.
Awesome, great start. 3, 2, 1.
Seb Pullman, a lot said from head coach Nicole Richardson. What'd you make of that huddle?
I agree with such great insight from her. A little bit more on that ball into Shimona Nelson and explain to wait a second until that defender gets stuck on the body, then place the ball. Interesting their tactical timeout comes in a super shot, the power 5 when Giants are so good. So said starved possession, which means let's keep the possession in our hands so Giants don't have the opportunity to score too.
Well, Caitlin Bassett had an ear in the Giants huddle as well. What was their chat about?
Yeah, look, Jo Harton just pulled teammate Jamie Lee Price aside and showed her exactly how she wanted that last ball delivered that Ward got hands to. So she wants it a little bit further out in front so she can fend the body and step onto it.
Yeah, both sides still searching for some perfection in this game. It stays close. The Giants just in front, 9-7, and we are in the power 5. We know how potent the Giants can be in this time, and Sophie Garvin can definitely do the damage from long distance as well. There she is, Garvin to Jovic. What a shot that is, a bit of a bird's eye view. Just in time to see the contact between Tilly McDonald, Shimona Nelson.
And that's such a strong take in there from Nelson. Have a look at the Nissan net point match leaders. No surprise. 4 Giants leading the way in this match.
Well, it's a defence end too, isn't it? They've been getting so many tips and touches early in this game. They deserve to be winning. And an opportunity here again for the Collingwood Magpies to get this back to level. A spray ball coming from the Giants. It'll be Ash Brazel back from her timeout with COVID. Seems to be coping so far, and she's an important part of this puzzle for the Magpies. Well, again, it's just the placement letting the Magpies down. A tip from Dwyer. And that long ball clearance that's been working for them this entire game. Harton. The swing to Hay. Jiva Mentor this time with a tip.
Lots of little touches coming, which shows the pressure that's building defensively from both teams.
Well, interesting one. Jovic then just penalised outside the circle. Yeah, and offside, Ash Brazel trying to have a crack from behind. There's your contact penalties. The top 10 contact penalties, all circle defenders apart from Molly Jovic, who's smack bang in the middle at number 5. What do you make from that as a centre court player?
Well, you're up against one of the most physical in Jamie Lee Price. So if you start getting into that battle, that's where the umpires start looking. So it's building that physical pressure one-on-one being on the body, but giving yourself enough room that you're not contacting.
Another massive contest there from Tilly McDonald. Unlucky to come up with possession.
Well, and she knows how big of a matchup and a game this is. She's bringing energy early. Look at her facial reactions. Doesn't she love it?
Well, we spoke about her in the pre-game and her first finals campaign on court, how she'd handle it. Well, there's no question as how she's handling it at the moment beautifully. As is Maddie Hay with the vision to the captain under the post again. The Giants creating a little bit of a buffer here as the clock counts down in this first quarter. Now up by 3. Jovic. Garvin, the drive, beautiful baseline drive, and we saw it perfectly from that bird's eye angle. %100% shooting for the Collingwood Magpies. Need more ball. Jo Harton loves the super shot. Can't keep the rebound though. A minute 20 to go in the opening quarter of this minor semi-final. Long ball to Garvin. Back to Ward. Brown. Garvin doesn't even look in the circle. That's where I want to see her put her head down and really drive Sophie Garvin. She kind of jogs into the circle. I reckon a little bit more commitment. She'll free up, or it's going to be really clear going in to Nelson at the back.
I agree. You've got to make those defenders work and be accountable for you. So they can drop back on Nelson. That's okay. I'm going to get the ball and shoot herself. The last play before that, beautiful baseline drive.
Yep. You can tell when she makes a difference, can't you? There's the long ball over the top. Tilly McDonald, a little hand in. Well, there's another turnover here, and it's a breaking call. against the Collingwood Magpies. So they've just given up their centre pass right when they were getting themselves back in this game. Not that they're out of the game, just won the difference at the moment, but it gives another opportunity to the Giants. Umpires making sure the players completely understand what's been asked of them. Jo Harton plays herself into the white line, the arc of the super shot. Let's put that down to a pass from Dwyer to Harton. 5 seconds, they'll be able to shoot it up here. And Jo Harton finishes with an extra. So it is the Giants that lead by 2 over the Collingwood Magpies as they take the first quarter in this minor semi-final here in Sydney.
Welcome back to Ken Rosewell Arena. It's our Origin quarter-time break where the home side, Giants Netball, are leading the Collingwood Magpies by 2 goals. It's been an arm wrestle first quarter for these two sides. Coach has been telling her Giants players to make sure they keep that width on the court, punching through their centre court to keep going in this second half. Kath and Sam have been listening into the Magpies huddle. What do they have to say?
Well, really interesting at that quarter break. We saw Mentor and Nelson go over to the umpires and have a little bit of clarity around what's happening in that goal circle. Nelson speaking about the hold, and Bronwyn gave some really good feedback saying, I am watching, your hold is really great, keep an angle on it, but I'm watching Tilly McDonald as well, and she's defending within the rules. So they're asking for clarity around that hold. I'm guessing that Nelson's saying there's a lot of push and shove, and the umpire's watching it.
Welcome to finals, baby. There's always a lot of push and shove this time of year. And, you know, probably worth clarifying with the umpires for no other reason than really to point it out. That might, I mean, they're professional umpires. They're certainly not going to be swayed by what a player says, but it might be something now that draws a little bit more attention.
Well, and that conversation to go, what are you seeing? Because this is how I feel.
Yep, and so Nelson will hopefully adjust her game so those calls don't come, or the Giants, a little fumble, but they keep possession, not for long though. It goes back to Sophie Garvin. The long ball to Jovic. Garvin the drive. And then the beautiful connection over the top there to Shimona Nelson.
This is a great start from the Collingwood Magpies. I loved their coach, Nicole Richardson, in that break saying, it's okay, it's finals first quarter.
Yeah.
So I can imagine they'll settle into this second quarter now.
Yep, she's not expecting a 100% flawless outing in the first 15 minutes, is she? There's always nerves, and that is another good connection from Sophie Garvin to Shimona Nelson. So if that conversation with the umpires has clarified something that's making them a little bit more fluent down that end, well, what a good time to have it. Parmenter, Price, Dwyer, long to Hay, undefended, and the drive comes from Dwyer again. Jiva Mentor doing an exceptional good job to keep Jo Harton out of the equation that time down the court. But that's the beauty of the Giants, isn't it? If Jo Harton's not in play, Sophie Dwyer will step up.
And that's why they're such a threat, because they are such a strong combo, and they know that if one is getting shut out, the other one will stand up. But that's another great strong hold from Nelson, and beautiful feed from Kelsey Brown.
Even Steven here, 14 apiece. The start of this second quarter. Beautiful pass by the floorboards from Harton to Dwyer. While the Collingwood Magpies screaming for a held ball there. Doesn't come. Sophie Dwyer. Another one on the board. 3 from 5 for her. Brown. Jovic. Looks long, finds Sophie Garvin again. Outside the circle, undefended. So we mentioned before, if she's not doing enough, both of the defenders are going to drop on Nelson. That's happened, but now Sophie Garvin's really injected herself into the game.
I agree. Her intensity and a little bit more drive on the ball has been impressive, but have a look at the last 10 penalties. 4 in a row from Giants. And look at that contest. That's the matchup that I called in pre-game, and great to see the Harvey Norman replay really highlight those two.
Joe Harton, well, it wasn't a great ball, but she pulled it in. The swing to Hay. Dwyer out to Price. Again to Dwyer. Well, she's in the sweet spot. Normally the last 5 minutes of the game, but, well, they lose possession. There's Sophie Dwyer. 50% shooting at the moment, Sammy.
Yeah, something that's not what we usually see from her. But what I've been impressed in, look at where the last couple of plays, both Jiva and Ward have made them land. They're all really high, so they're putting them under pressure and going, yeah, we know you can take a long shot.
Do it now, though. Yeah, absolutely. Good call. Whoa, Shimona Nelson!
What a take!
Well, far out. I thought that was going out the back of the court for sure. Pulls it in.
That's exactly what you want in finals. Every ball matters. Have a look at this Harvey Norman replay. The elevation and her ability to keep that ball in court. This is finals netball.
Oh, just like that, the Magpies have snuck in front. 1 goal in front, 16-15, as the Giants call an HCF timeout.
When we're going well, we're all up and about, and when we have a few goals, we kind of dip our heads. Let's get back up. Here we go.
Well, interesting to listen in to. Giants huddle in that HCF tactical timeout. Julie Fitzgerald really giving Tilly McDonald a lot of praise and confidence, and that's what you need to do in a player that's new to finals. Keep building her up.
Yeah, she was full of beans in that first quarter, wasn't she, Tilly McDonald? That's where they want to keep her for this full 60 minutes. Even though the momentum has shifted a bit here and Shimona Nelson is starting to really turn it on. That's 12 from 12 for her.
Yeah, not only is Nelson really confident, but the placement is so much better for the Magpies, and that's the difference. It was there in the first quarter. The placement let them down. Now here they go in the second quarter.
Dwyer outside the circle. Again, Hay finds herself in that pocket undefended. Harton also hasn't missed. Well, we mentioned the 2 goal shooters at the start of the game and how important they were. Both of them sitting on 100%. 11 from 11 for Harton, 12 from 12 from Nelson. Kelsey Brown up and over the top. Spot on Sam Pullman. That feed now is near perfect, and that's when Shimona Nelson starts to rack up the big numbers. Parmenta, nowhere to go, force long.
Great pressure from Magpies defence. Ward got a really great little tip in there, and they've created a held ball. So really good pressure from the Magpies.
Well, Magpies now 2 in front. A reminder to everybody that they've twice been in the finals but have never got further than the first week of finals. They win this game, they break that hoodoo, and they look amped for it in this second quarter. Well, Shimona Nelson pumped.
Well, I was about to say, Kath, hasn't the momentum changed? Look at the Magpies, their intensity's lifted as I jinxed Sophie Garvin.
Well, you jinxed her feet. Another stepping call, both happening at the same end of the court, so players may need to just slow it down a bit. Harton, the swing to Price. Harton again, the quick double play. The quick double play. Joe Harton finishes it off. 2 the difference, the Collingwood Magpies still in front in this second quarter, leading this second quarter 8-4.
Contact wing.
There's your score breakdown. The first quarter went to the Giants by 2. And as I just mentioned, the Magpies taken this one by 4 so far. really turned it around. Caitlin Bassett on the sideline for us.
Yeah, look, commentators killed that last one for the Magpies. What I think is really working for them and why Shimona has stood up is she's making average passes look great, and that is what a good shooter does. Regardless of what the ball is coming in, they pluck it from anywhere, and while the feed delivery has been so much better, she's actually been snatching that ball in and really taking command of that circle, which is great to see.
Spot on, makes a bad pass look good, and when they're good, well, she just finishes them off nicely, as she's just done again. Shimona Nelson, really starting to look dangerous, isn't she? As is the connection from the Collingwood Magpies. How do the Giants respond? Only down by 2, but that is not going to help their cause, Sam Pullman. What's happening? The wheels falling off a bit.
Well, I think so. The momentum of Magpies is certainly there. They just need to settle that one, but the intensity's changed. So Magpies are really confident. They're doing the work. They're letting the ball go. But you have a look at Giants and that last ball, somebody else thought. Look at the worry look on Julie Fitzgerald's face.
Yeah, those fingernails are certainly getting a bit of a chewing off at the moment. Not loving what she's seeing in this second quarter from the Giants. But so much talent in this Giants lineup, so much finals experience. Only down by 2. I wouldn't be looking as worried as Julie Fitzgerald is right now. Doesn't make many changes, Julie Fitzgerald, so maybe she's sitting there thinking, if I need to, where's it going to come? As there's another beautiful aerial ball shot in to Shimona Nelson. They're now up by 4 in the blink of an eye, Sam Pullman.
Well, isn't this finals netball? Nelson, 17 goals in this game so far, 100% shooting from her and Garvin. That is impressive and the exact start that we wanted from them.
Well, Sophie Garvin was only the one shot in that first quarter, so she's really started to get herself into the contest. Jo Harton wants it a little bit closer. Quick double play with Hay. And finishes still yet to miss. 14 from 14 for the captain, Jo Harton. 3 the difference. Oh, the contest from Parmenta. Parmenta in the Nissan Net Points rolling team of the year, so has been having a spectacular season. As Tilly McDonald takes a whack to the jaw from Shimona Nelson. Here's the contest from Amy Parmenta in the Harvey Norman replay. Dwyer, again, doesn't look into the circle.
Contact centre. Yes.
So much harder now for the Giants to find any sort of inroad. Jo Harton, well, what do you make of Jo Harton not even turning to sight the goal post on the last couple of occasions, only halfway in?
Yeah, I think you've got to turn to look to either give it or make the defenders move. Magpies are doing a really good job of playing a pulley system, so what that means is that both defenders are continually swapping and moving. So she's got to get her hips around and look at her options and make the defenders countable.
Well, no issue with the feed going into Shimona Nelson now. Have a look at the Nissan Net Points. And Nelson skyrocketed to the top. We showed you those stats in the first quarter and it was all Giants defence. So there is the turnaround and there is the HCF timeout to the Giants. Julie Fitzgerald feeling like this may be getting away from them a little. 4 points the difference now. Let's have a listen and see what she wants from her troops.
Let's spread that a little bit more. And coming down the court, don't forget the value of good high arms up, all right? I think sometimes we're fighting so hard for the ball, we forget that. We want that really high arms over pressure. Some great work down here on the low balls, all right? Those things are going to come up in your favour in the end. Some really good work down there on the edges, all right?
It's okay. Level? It's okay. Yeah. I think we need to try and maybe, let's try really just push up and for a couple. Yeah. See how high we can get them and let's get that control of where they are. Then we can have a little crack. Yeah. Yeah?
really taking over that huddle for a little bit. What is she asking for from the defenders?
Well, they've identified that the Magpies attack are way too confident and letting that ball go. So spoke about pushing them up the court. So that's using your body to dictate and deny that space. And don't forget the use of hands over. So building a bit more pressure so that they're not doing whatever they want and making it look easy.
Caitlin Bassett was down in the huddle for the Magpies. What'd you pick up down there?
Yeah, look, they're happy with how they're going, but they know that they need to keep pushing that grind, sticking one-on-one to their players. And for me, it's really the matchup between Ward and Dwyer at the moment. Dwyer only shooting 3 from 6 at 50%, which is unlike her, and I think that's because of the work that that woman on screen's doing right now.
Well, impressive too when you remember that Jodie Ann Ward is coming back from COVID. So to be able to contain Sophie Dwyer as much as she has so far, when we did question it in that first quarter, she's doing an exceptional job. That was a siren for the start of the Power 5. So every shot taken within the white arc, if you're just new to the great game of netball, it is worth 2 points in this 5 minutes. 3 the difference. Dwyer. Oh, sorry, Garvin. Jovic. Back to Brazel and Jovic again. Well, having to go back to the transverse line a bit here.
Hold time. Court wipes.
I thought there was going to be a caution coming there against April Brownlee, but just wiping the court. Here's the Harvey Norman replay. The contest from Brownlee. And Kelsey Brown, just a little bit of collateral damage, really, in the way of the ball. Game goes on, and game continues the direct route it's been taking in this second quarter, straight to Nelson. Magpies up by 4. Well, what do you think the Giants do here now? It is Power 5 time, Sam. Well, particularly if they keep throwing ball away, they're going to have to be forced into some of those long shots in a minute.
Wow, they are. Really impressive contest there from Garvin. I like how she's now stepped up and brought a defensive pressure, but you're right. I think a little bit confusion there from the umpires. Look at all the players.
Well, listen to the crowd too. No question about whose side they're on.
It's a Giants throw-in, and we're going to take
it is a Giants throw-in, so that crowd needs to turn those boos into cheers, and don't they do that? Sideline, Tilly on the side. That's it. Tilly McDonald. The throw-in, Parmenter, Price, Brownlee. Swing ball, Parmenter. Back to Brownlee again, doing so much work in attack. Price. Both of the Giant shooters just caught in the same position. And that's that connection that's been missing since that first quarter between Dwyer and Harden. Back to 3 the difference. Magpies still in control, leading this quarter 9-14. Jovic, Brown, Garvin, back to Brown. Oh, Shimona Nelson had to move her feet to get to that ball in the first place, finds herself back in familiar territory. Going to be heading towards some big numbers is that lady on screen, Shimona Nelson, 20 from 20 already this game. Price. Dwyer. The big swing finds Hay. What happens next? Joe Harton got to start sinking a couple of these. Well, she does. A Suncorp super shot. Not forgetting Suncorp is donating $100 to the Confident Girls Foundation for every successful super shot. Where you hear the crowd go up. Julie Fitzgerald's hands go up on her head. Not happy with the call.
Well, the pressure has been building these last few centre passes. Giants are yet to get an intercept, a clean intercept to their name. So in this last 2 minutes of play, they really need to contest and try and get hands on ball.
Well, the coaches know the importance of this clash as well, don't they? Anytime there's the slightest momentum shift, there is a timeout called. This time the HCF timeout going to the big Magpie, Nicole Richardson. Now that Caitlin Bassett started that nickname, I'm making it stick. We'll get down and have a listen to what she wants from her team.
We've done a good job to start possession.
there into the Magpies HCF tactical timeout. Really strategic team talk from Coach Richardson in terms of going, we need to have a crack defensively at this Giants centre pass, then starve possession. But we must score. So there's this fine line between throwing around the ball and reducing that clock time, but also ticking over the scoreboard and not losing possession.
Nicole Richardson, definitely one of the best in terms of tactics and play in the game. Always well worth a listen in the Magpies team huddles. Let's see if they can dish up exactly what she's been looking for. Dwyer to Harton again. Under the post, continues on her way. Well, they're keeping it close here, the Giants. It did get out by as much as 4 in this quarter. Back to 2, 1.5 minutes to play. Brown. Dwyer, well, did well to pull that penalty. Sophie Garvin, now there's a 2-on-1 inside the circle. April Branley penalised outside it. The long ball over the top to Nelson.
Giants need to stay in play every time they're out of play. It releases pressure, reduces that clock. 27 penalties so far, so they need to stay in play.
Well, not many obstructions, so of those penalties, it's contacts, it's players getting right in there and having a good crack at the ball and the body. Exactly what you'd expect from finals. Well, that one is another coach killer.
Well,
misunderstanding, sorry, on the centre pass, SM.
No, you're right, but a big win for Magpies. They need to execute here. They wanted strategically to keep possession and wind down that clock. So these are moments in finals that the team that can strategically stand up and deliver are what create exciting moments to watch.
Julie Fitzgerald is definitely feeling the heat. She's removed the scarf as Jovic. Whoa, she can't keep possession. Parmenta fighting to the end here. Jovic, the shake of the head. Well, those two will go at it all afternoon if you let them. 9 seconds, Jo Harton. Oh, it takes all the time in the world too. Not enough time on the clock for the Giants. Have a look here at the Harvey Norman replay, the tussle between Parmenta and Jovic. Well, looked as though it could have gone the way of Molly Jovic. Doesn't know half-time here, and it is 3 the difference. The Collingwood Magpies, haven't they turned this game on its head? We'll go into this half-time break with a 3-goal buffer, taking that second quarter 17-12. Nicole Richardson will be very happy with that. Let's get down, though, to Caitlin Bassett, who's with one of the stars of the Collingwood Magpies.
That's right, Kath. I'm here with Sophie Garvin. Soph, your old home court, what does it feel like to be back out here and playing against the experienced April Branley?
Yeah, it's a little bit different coming back here, but it's nice to be here. And, yeah, it's always hard coming up against April. She's so experienced and, yeah.
And you've got your stars back today. How important is it to have the likes of Braz, Jodie Ann, you've got Maggie and also your coach back?
Yeah, it's so good to have everyone back. Braz and Jodie are major ball winners for us, and it's great to have Maggie back in the group. She brings a lot of leadership, so it's good to have them back. And Richo, so yeah.
And Magpies have never gotten better than 4th on the ladder. You've always been knocked out in this elimination final. What do you have to do to change that today?
I think just keep doing what we're doing. I think we started off a bit slow, but we're winning heaps of balls. So keep winning that ball and we'll hopefully tidy up our centre passes and keep scoring.
No worries. Good luck for the second half.
Thanks.
Makes it sound simple, doesn't she? Thanks, Caitlin. Thanks, Sophie. Keep scoring is the mantra. Welcome back to Finals Netball here in Sydney. It's the Collingwood Magpies up against the home side, the Giants. And if you're a Collingwood Magpie, this score is happy reading. A reminder, out of the 13 games played, the Collingwood Magpies have only won 1 against the Giants and have only gone as far as the first week of finals on 2 separate occasions. We're lucky enough now, though, to be joined by the head coach of the Giants, Julie Fitzgerald. Julie, a strong start. Where did it get away from you in that second quarter, though?
I think we got a little bit nervous. I just don't think we're giving the ball as strongly as we can. So hopefully we'll be able to pick that up with a little bit more confidence in this bit.
And what about the other end? Julie Nelson, really strong and dominant in her takes. How important is the work out in front defensively to start creating some opportunities?
It's very important, and I think we've tried really hard to deny the pass, but we're forgetting to get our arms up in the air and really put pressure on that pass.
What was your message at halftime? This is finals netball, so every moment counts. What was your message to the team?
Just exactly that. Finals are very hard work. The intensity has to be maintained throughout.
Thanks, Jules. We'll leave you to it. All the best in this second half.
Thank you.
Yeah, wants to get out of here, Julie Fitzgerald. Fair enough, too. It is a big game, and she wants to be able to give those instructions to her team. Well, you heard her say it. Finals, it's a different beast, isn't it? And they need to bring the energy here. The Giants get themselves back in this contest, down by 4 at the moment. Long ball to Hay. Well, we've saw the ball, the pass coming from Hay to Harton. That's what we were seeing in this first quarter, Sam Pullman.
Well, and that's what they're so good at and what we've seen all season. So Julie Fitzgerald noting that there was a little bit of nerves there. So players just confident, backing themselves in, being confident, knowing that they can execute under pressure.
Interesting to hear her say that, though, because it didn't look like those nerves were there in the first quarter. They somehow crept into the game in the second quarter.
Well, maybe they got reminded of the occasion that they're here to play. Remember, neither of these teams have a second chance. So whoever wins this goes and matches against the Vixens next week. Whoever loses, it's season over.
It is all over, Red Rover. Well, there's our bird's eye view. How good is that to be able to see the full court in action? Maddie Hay, again, there's that ball. But I want to talk about the position of Maddie Hay. She has taken a lot of undefended balls in the pocket. Surely that's something Jiva Mentor's got her eye on.
Well, I think Giants would have spoken about that at halftime, saying we need to do the work to get on circle edge, because that's a beautiful feed. But you're right, either Ash Braz needs to do more work in keeping her high up the court, or Jiva Mentor needs to take a risk. She's one of the most experienced players on this court, both in Super Netball and internationally. Stand up, be brave, have a fly.
As Nelson puts another on the board. Just the one miss now for her. Sitting at 96%. For the difference here, well, Jiva Mentor, she just crept out a little bit then. There's the swing across to Hay. Dwyer, the follow-up. Another swing, so happy to go side to side here. The Giants still don't want to shoot it, though. Want to make absolutely sure of this. Well, I'll tell you what, I'm exhausted watching that passage of plays. We just saw a little lift come between Mentor and Ward. Brazel to Ward. Jovic. Garvin. Oh, didn't have enough on it. Jamie Lee Price picks up a sitter. Got a score off it now, though, the Giants. There's your intercepts to the way of the Collingwood Magpies, and that was the first for the Giants. Hey.
Contact centre, advantage offside.
Price, Dwyer. Well, there is an awful lot starting to happen in the circles, and that niggle is going to increase as this game comes on. There's the work around the circle. Have a look at the defence end here, though. If you can, keep an eye on Jiva Mentor and the lift on Jodie Wardner. Just out of shot, but the Magpies keen to pull out all the stops here to try and disrupt this Giants attack line. They did it beautifully in that second quarter. They want to continue that momentum as Nicole Richardson, the head coach, looks on.
Well, we spoke about it last quarter that Giants needed to stay in play, and this is the same messaging from Collingwood Magpies down this end, that they need to still create that pressure one-on-one, but give yourself enough room that you're not standing out of play.
Every single ball in that passage of play has had a contact penalty the way of the Magpies. I agree with you, but is that also just a way of completely frustrating this Giants attack line?
Well, it is, but I give credit to the likes voice of Jo Harton in saying that she wants a defender on her back, and she will play that to show the umpire and go, hey, she's shoving me here, stand out of play. So,
the tip on the chase, and now the urgency on the face. You just saw it on the captain, Jo Harton, screaming for her team. Lift. Little bit of magic and the spark coming. Here it is, the tip coming from Maddie Hay, and look at the chase. And the grimace too from Jovic. Well, is this the turning point for the Giants? Got them back to even. Look at the captain, she's fired up. So often speak about those moments that shift momentum, that turn play, and that one has lifted the spirits. Every single player has gone straight over to Maddie Hay. They know what it's all about here. It's an HCF timeout to the Collingwood Magpies. Nicole Richardson's recognised it as well. She wants to stop it.
We did one. I reckon let's see if we can do a little bit more proactive. Let's go. So see these decals? We're going wide into them to receive in the middle, on the inside of them. Don't get too wide. Up and down the middle. Use your size. Hold nice and strong. You're going to have to do some work to get off the body a little bit more. More breathing work. You hold the body strong. Yeah, different. Don't listen to the umpires, don't listen to the crowd, stand our own bubble and stick to the pass.
First defensive centre pass is one, the second pass is 100.
wow, great access into the Magpies. HCF tactical timeout there. Some great leadership from Mentor saying don't take notice to the crowd. Stay in it as Giants lead this quarter 6-3. So let's see if the momentum can change back to the Magpies.
Well, the way the Magpies don't take notice of this crowd is to get themselves in front and silence them. And what they've done now by closing this gap is bring them to life, haven't they? They've gotten a lot more vocal. Let's get down to Caitlin Bassett, who was in the other huddle.
Yeah, look, Giants happy with that last contest from Maddie Hay. And isn't it funny, we spoke about Hay and Price needing to stand up in this next half. Price has already got an intercept. Now Hay has added to the mix. And, you know, defensively, they're just smothering the Magpies attack line at the moment. So bring the crowd into it. Keep getting those tips and touches.
Oh, Jo Harton!
Well, doing stuff like that.
And doing stuff like that, exactly right, Caitlin Bassett. That is how you fire your side up. That is how you keep your team alive. Have a look at the magic on the Harvey Norman replay. Jo Harton, have a look at the last 10, and that is happy reading. Well, I mentioned not long ago it was happy reading for the Magpies. Hasn't that turned on its head? Well, 3 very different quarters we have had in this game already.
Well, an interesting Giants season. They'd only won 2 games, more than 2 quarters in a match. And then Shimona Nelson saying in the pre-game that they need to be consistent in finals. So both teams looking for a consistent 60-minute performance.
Well, it's not happening tonight, is it? But again, that is all about finals. It is a completely different kettle of fish. Oh, Dwyer snuck through the baseline. Harton missed it. Continue to move the ball around, and this is where Jo Harton is dangerous. She's starting to toy, you can tell. She's got the ball on the string, she's feeding it around, she's getting plenty of movement, and she's finishing it off. Have a look at that face. If that doesn't mean business, I don't know what does. The long ball, Ash Brazel, and it's kept in by Shimona Nelson. What a response from the Magpies. 33 apiece. 7 minutes to go in this third quarter. Branley, Hay, Dwyer, Price, what a take. Harton there in support. Oh, well, it's turned into a score fest now. The start of this game, it was all defence from both sides. You were sitting there with a big smile on your face. Now it's my turn, Sam Pullman.
Well, they're just showing how creative that they can be. So they're really playing with their defence and going, okay, now we've adjusted into the game, identified what you're doing. Let us show you what we can do.
And it's a far more enjoyable game, if you ask me. But anyway,
come on.
Parmenter. Price looks long again. Joe Harton. Well, she had the go-go gadget arms out to reel that in. Wow, listen to the crowd and have a look at this Harvey Norman replay. Look at Joe Harton. Well, I think she popped a rib in the take. She's not going to let that bother her for at least another 20 minutes. The momentum has shifted. The offensive contact against Shimona Nelson. Here come the Giants. Price. Harton. Well, we're 40 seconds away from the Power 5. And now the penalty calls are coming thick and fast. Smart positioning, smart work from the Giants. The first miss for Joe Harton, but she cleans up the rebound.
Well, haven't they been beautiful to watch? Jamie Lee Price has really come into this game. And this attack end for Giants are just incredible to watch. They're doing a really great job of identifying where there's vision and space and the confidence to let it go.
And letting it go all too easy now, aren't they? Sophie Dwyer, well, her radar has been off a bit this game. Sitting at 63%, another miss. But she's doing everything else right. How do the Magpies narrow this gap a little more so? Don't want to go to the Suncorp super shot. Chipping away, just won the difference. So Magpies, as much as it's felt like the Giants have just steamrolled this third quarter, well and truly still in this contest. Brown, Brazel, Jovic, Brown, Garvin outside the circle, looks long, looks direct, and it's another one for Nelson. Back to even. Oh, Sam Pullman. Whew. This is going to be a massive final quarter coming right up. Joe Harton, the swing to Hay. Who's coming forward? No one. So the swing back to Jamie Lee Price.
And Magpies have brought Jackie Newton onto the court for Ward. So we did identify that strategic time to when Ward's getting a little bit tired because this is her first game back and training from COVID.
Yeah, Ash Brazel, keeping that in mind, is doing exceptionally well, still on court. There she is, Jodie Ann Ward, just back from her stint out with COVID, maybe feeling the after effects of that. And she was starting to get beaten then. I think she'd had Sophie Dwyer's measure for the most part of the game. There's Anissa net points. Well, moments ago, it was the Collingwood Magpies and Nelson in front. Hay, Harton now at the top, and it is all the Giants' attack line. Put Parmenter in attack because she does so much of it.
That is contact swing.
Kelsey Brown, Garvin, Brown.
Well, they're just not as confident to let that ball go into the circle as they were in the first half. And I think that's because of the positioning of Giants defenders. They're a lot better at their positioning, which means it's not as clear for Magpies to see. But I'd love for them just to continue to do the work and let it go. Well,
they have weathered an almighty storm here from the Giants, haven't they? The Collingwood Magpies, they're in front. The centre pass to follow. And as we mentioned in that first quarter, it felt like it was all Giants. It did in the third as well. But the Magpies are fighting.
They are. That placement again that's letting the Magpies down. This is a huge win for Giants. We saw Tilly pumping the sky because she knows how big of a win that was.
Well, Caitlin Bassett said Shimona Nelson can pull in even the ugliest of passes. Not on that occasion. Well, that's the difference fresh leg makes as well. Jackie Newton into the contest and ends up with the ball in her hands very quickly.
Obstruction
3 intercepts to 1 now for the Collingwood Magpies. Oh, she may have just turned the momentum one more time in this game. Comes off Newton, so another tip. Hey, where can she go? It's to the captain, Jo Harton. Dwyer takes the shot, the long shot, it falls for her. Sophie Dwyer, her first Suncorp super shot of the game, and doesn't it come at a good time? Gets the Giants back to level, 1 and a bit minutes to play in this third quarter. Minor semi-final action. The winner to take on the Melbourne Vixens next week, the loser. It is all over for season 2022. April Brandley gets a hand in. And the Giants are off and running with it. Yeah, Jovic, as we mentioned, very heavily penalised, the only mid-quarter in the top 10 for penalties this season. Doesn't shy away from the contest. Hey, Harton.
She's also...
Harton sinks another Suncorp super shot. Look at Matisse Leatherburgh up on her feet on the bench. And that is another $200 going to the Confident Girls Foundation from Suncorp. $100 per Suncorp super shot. Jo Harton wants to add to that list. And she does. Well, watch out, Collingwood, when Jo Harton is hot from there. All bets are off. The Magpies. What can they do here in the final 5 seconds? Well, nothing. They spray the ball. What a finish to this quarter from the Giants. They get themselves back in front by 4. And they take that gap into three-quarter time here. It is 43-39. Welcome back to Sydney. Minor semi-final action here at Ken Rosewell Arena. Three-quarter time here brought to you by Origin Energy. And I want to take you straight into the huddle that we just saw. The Collingwood Magpies and a very fired-up head coach, Nicole Richardson. Have a listen.
We are right in this contest. If it wasn't for down that end, we got some shit calls, right? But we regroup and we go again. So we must make sure we're finishing our leads and we're running onto the ball. I reckon we need to punch to get depth, more depth, before we come back up. Because I reckon we're just getting caught in a band on top of each other. Have the courage to go deeper to receive or deep to punch back. Don't lose our connection and get too wide, right? We've done a really good job. Stay in the moment, yeah?
Well, talk about passion. There it was in literal black and white. Caitlin Bassett, you had to listen in to the Giants, just as serious.
It certainly was. Just because they're ahead now doesn't mean they're going to take the foot off the pedal. Jo Harton telling her attacking end that they really need to get out of the box that the Magpies are setting defensively. So not just get herded into the middle of the court, but really use the whole width.
Well, strap yourselves in, everybody. It is going to be a massive 15 minutes. Seasons are on the line in this clash. Well, Jamie Lee Price hung on to it for an eternity. Ooh, making a little bit of a mess of it here. The Giants, they'll be happy just to sink this shot and forget about this passage of play. Sophie Dwyer does just that, and it looks as though her radar has turned on at the right time, Sam Pullman.
It has. She made some errors in terms of her shooting in the first half that we don't normally see from her. She's normally able to stand up and deliver with such confidence. So she's really come into this game in this second half.
Let's have a little check-in on the matchups we spoke about pre-game. One of the big ones was Jamie Lee Price on Molly Jovic. Who do you think's won that battle so far?
For me, Jamie Lee Price, if we're talking about right now, she's come into the game in this third quarter and some beautiful, strong feeds into the circle. So if she can keep this performance going, she's going to have a really good leadership game in this final quarter.
Well, you mentioned leaders, and you cannot go past the stuff coming from the leader here, the captain, Jo Harton. She's been in absolutely everything, every loose ball, every bad pass she's chased up, nailing super shots. She is not going to leave this court wondering if she had done enough. Brown. Brazel. Force long ball to Jovic. Brown again up the middle. There it is to Nelson. Well, find themselves down by 4 here, the Collingwood Magpies. In the scheme of things, that is not much at all. We know how quickly a game of netball can turn on its head. We've seen it about 27 times in this game already.
Jiva, mentor, that's exactly what we wanted to see from her, to have a flight and build the pressure, because this Giants attack end is getting too much confidence.
Well, it is exactly that ball to Maddie Hay too, wasn't it? That corner ball.
Halfway.
Dwyer to Hay. Joe Harton. Well, again, not sighting the post. That is a little unusual to see that from her on a couple of occasions. And now the Giants have lost possession. So a big opportunity here for the Collingwood Magpies to score and really start to narrow this gap a little. They'll have the centre pass to follow. Brown puts the Jets on. Jovic, Brown again get themselves right on the edge of the circle, and you can't beat a feed from there, Sam Pullman.
You can't, and it's all about execution with the opportunities that you've had. So 14 and 15 turnovers from each team, so this is how tight this battle is. It's about delivering on your opportunity and making that other team count. As another simple turnover from Nelson. Giants get the throw in.
Yeah, just stepped out of court there, Shimona Nelson. Parmenter up the middle to Hay. Long ball finds Dwyer.
Well, Hay has been very good today. 39 feeds to her name. So yes, Joe Harton is the creator, but you've got to have someone delivering her the ball like Maddie Hay.
Well, you just have to have that steady influence, don't you? She doesn't get fired up. She doesn't waver in temperament, just does the job throughout the game.
And does the work. So not only does she bring a really great defensive game, but you just watch her. She's on one of the, well, the Australian Diamonds in Ash Braz going to the Com Games. So she's done her job, and that's exactly what you want from a wing attack.
Yeah, definitely one of the unsung heroes in this lineup. Oh, waited for the dodge to come from Joe Harton, and it was Jiva Mentor that presented the big hand and the deflection. The Collingwood Magpies. Possession. Jovic. Garvin. Across the court. Enter. Parmenter. Well, that was the other matchup we spoke about pre-game. Amy Parmenter on Kelsey Brown. How have you seen that one play out?
Well, it's been both-sided. I think in moments, Kelsey Brown has really shown how dominant she can be in attack and how much ball she can get and deliver. But Amy Parmenter the same. There's been glimpses of her where she's done really good one-on-one pressure and had a crack at the ball. Have a look at this really good deflection from Jiva Mentor. Miscommunication there from Dwyer. And another contest in that pocket on the Harvey Norman replay.
Oh, great take, Kelsey Brown, as we just see the Magpies turn the Jets on. Some flashy footwork and some even better ball work. And they get it back to 2 here, the Collingwood Magpies. 9.5 minutes to play in this minor semi-final. Who will continue their quest to the premiership and whose season is all over? We're not far away from that result. The Melbourne Vixens watching this with interest, no doubt. Who will they be playing next week? Garvin to Jovic. Shimona Nelson, yeah, she presented, but she took out a defence in the process.
Well, and isn't Nelson laughing? Doesn't agree with that call. But interesting enough that Nelson and Mentor went at half-time to really get the umpires to watch that matchup and that hold. So we've seen a couple of calls come in play.
Well, there it is. You can see the head coach, Nicole Richardson, maybe just having a chat about the delivery, where it's got to come. Joe Harton, cool as you like, adds another to the list. Just the one miss in this game, 32 from 33. As Julie Fitzgerald watches on. Another difficult 8.5 minutes of her illustrious career, having to just sit there and watch what her team can put together in a big moment.
Goal third. Centre contact with the hip, with the centre.
Dwyer out of the circle, back to Dwyer again. Little bit stagnant in the circle, but it doesn't matter because they've still got two beautiful targets in Harton and Dwyer. Haven't seen a game like this all season from the Giants. I have seen plenty of that though from Amy Parmenter this season, but in terms of the shooting volume coming from the two shooters, as another ball goes the way of the Giants, Maddie Hay. We've been talking her up in this quarter, but Sophie Dwyer, just 6 shots. 33 to Jo Harton, normally a lot more balanced.
You're right, but that's where it comes into play when you have two shooters that are really dominant in a team like Giants. When Sophie Dwyer isn't having her usual performance in terms of volumes of goals, I feel Jo Harton has really stepped up in that space. So that's the luxury and the nightmare for the defence end that comes up against this duo.
A luxury and a nightmare all in one. Sounds like it should have a bow on it.
Absolutely, but Jo Harton's been impressive, and you know, she will be the leader that will stand up and deliver just like that. Have a look at this Harvey Norman replay. A great contest from Amy Parmenter.
And then the loose ball pickup coming from Maddie Hay. So it's certainly a team effort here for the Giants, isn't it?
Well, there you go. I talk up how defensively good Hay is, and she gets a pickup. So thanks, Maddie Hay.
6th the difference. And speaking of Maddie Hay, there she is. She shot to the top of the Nissan Net Points, the leaderboard, with 100 big numbers. Dwyer again. 1 minute and 12 seconds outside of that power 5. And Jo Harton was finding her form in the last quarter. There's Sophie Garvin on the bench. She may well come back into the action in that last 5 minutes of this game. Gabby Sinclair is on the court, and she's very handy in that time as well, as we see Nelson go up for another strong take. Well, the scoreline getting a bit further out than the Magpies would like. It's 6th the difference now.
So they really need to create some opportunities here. It's not only building the pressure, but somebody needs to have a fly. The time is ticking over. Somebody in the Magpies team needs to have confidence, back themselves, and have a fly at this ball.
Would expect some of your season campaigners to do it, wouldn't you? The quarter time scores have fluctuated. It was the Giants in the first, then the Magpies, then the Giants, but the Giants finding themselves in front in this final quarter as well, so they have kept that momentum from the 3rd to the 4th. What can the Magpies do about it? 6th the difference. And there is the siren, the start of the power 5. Well, the Magpies may well be forced into a few of those long shots. Speaking of long shots, there's a shot from the roof, the bird's eye view.
Damage contact, goal attack.
Give you a good idea of what's happening on the court here. Branley, well, it gives you a good idea of April Branley going across the transverse line, their possession to the Collingwood Magpies. What can they do in this last 4.5 minutes? Newton, Sinclair, back to Newton. Oh, April Branley got a hand in. Nicole Richardson is on her feet.
Well, and so she should be, because there's only 4 minutes left. One team in this is done for the competition. So they need to do exactly that, deliver quickly and have a go at this super shot.
Well, Gabby Sinclair, she's coming in cold though. Hasn't been on the court, that's the issue, isn't it? Well, you get pulled in for the last 5 minutes to win a game, but...
You're right, it is very hard to do.
That is going to help them. They get another shot at it here. The Collingwood Magpies have got to start scoring, though. 3.5 minutes left here.
They've got to have options. They've got to get depth, deliver that ball as quickly as they can, because 3.5 minutes isn't a long time.
Whilst they've got to be conservative, they can't be slow either. They really do need to get on with the job here.
And this is what finals netball is about. You've got to take risks and stand up and deliver.
Well, Gabby Sinclair, can she sink this one? If not, Nelson needs this rebound. Well, she sinks it. And the scream. And look at the face of Nicole Richardson. I'll tell you what, she'd love to put a bib on and get out there. A Suncorp super shot gets them back to 4. And it is an HCF timeout now to the Magpies. Nicole Richardson loves the tactical stuff, and she'll certainly have some plays up her sleeve for these moments. Let's have a listen.
Rebounds, yeah? We all players in attack, 7 in D, right? This is it, right here, right now. We show them what this club are made of. Okay, keep on attacking. Let's go. Let's go.
Do not lose your voice out there. Work for each other. Stick to the process. We have to keep hungry onto everything. Let's go. 3, 2, 1. Let's go.
Well, you heard Nicole Richardson then, just what we briefly touched on. She wants Gabby Sinclair to have a crack at the shot and said to Nelson, rebounds. So keep an eye on that. There's your last 10. 2 to the Magpies. And the timeout that came. So now find themselves 4 down, but with a Suncorp super shot in play, that is very easy to make up, and it can be done very quickly, particularly when it is a Collingwood Magpies centre pass. 3 minutes left in this minor semi-final. Someone's season is over. Someone will continue on. Who will it be? Ash Brazel, Jovic, Brown, Sinclair. Well, the pressure really now is on Gabby Sinclair, isn't it? She's got to get herself in that spot, and she's got to drain. Look for Nelson to pull these rebounds in. Well, she can't. And the Giants know how big a moment that is and how big a win that is. Well, they want to keep possession here. They don't necessarily want to rush, though, either, do they, Sam Pullman?
No, there's a fine line between making sure that you're continually doing that work, but they'll be looking at that there's not long on the clock and they want to keep this ball in their possession.
Well, they do that nicely so far here. Price. Patience. Pulls the penalty. Well, Dwyer doesn't need to force this long one. She goes short to Harton, who has been, well, I was about to say, rock solid from there. Joe Harton misses an absolute sitter. Is there time for the Collingwood Magpies to do something with this? They've got to get it in the hands of Sinclair.
And this is the pressure that comes with only one shooter that's confident in taking the super shots.
Yeah, you'd want to get Sophie Garvin on there, wouldn't you? She's as good in the air on the rebound as anyone.
I would, because not only the rebound, but at the moment, the Giants are double defending.
Well, that's what I mean. She certainly can take the shot, but she's also handy if she gets stuck in that rebound role, which Nelson has been told to do. Well, time's being called here. 1:28 for the difference. Nicole Richardson cannot sit down. Well, they might just be forced into taking a shot, any kind of shot, as Sinclair goes over the signage. Well, that's the issue, isn't it? When you know that one player has got to take those shots, you double defend them.
You do such smart defensive play from the Giants, and they get the rewards.
Look at the Giants bench up in the background. They're on their feet. Joe Harton will milk the clock here. As you say, though, still got to be careful, but they are definitely not in any sort of hurry to turn this ball over.
It's your contact. Yes, there.
Yeah, swinging the ball. You can see Joe Harton calling out directions. They sink this. They have the centre pass to follow. Surely that's the ball game for the Giants. Joe Harton, 44 goals today. Branley, long to Hay. Harden out of the circle. Well, you know she's going to slow it down. She's out of the circle. Wants to play it around. The clock continues to tick down here. Well, the Giants, will they be going to play the Melbourne Vixens in a week's time? Certainly after that shot from Sophie Dwyer. Well, that's got to be the nail in the coffin for the Collingwood Magpies. 4 seconds to go. It is now 7, the difference. There it is. The Giants keep their season alive and they will march straight to Melbourne towards that prelim final and the Melbourne Vixens in a week's time. Tilly McDonald, wasn't she impressive at the start of this game? It was hard work after that. And it is season all over for the Collingwood Magpies. Yet another finals campaign that has ended in the first week. Look at the Orange Army up on their feet, singing the song loud and proud as we knew they would. Julie Fitzgerald encouraging it. That is one happy coach as she makes her way to yet another final series. One of the most successful coaches in the competition, and even she brought to tears there, Sam Pullman.
Well, they've deserved their spot to go through next week. It was a game of moments, and not only did Giants as a team really stand up, but there's plenty of players that stood up and delivered. Maddie Hay, Joe Harton, Jamie Lee Price. Really impressive performance.
Yeah, the Giants, that second half, a solid one, wasn't it? They took that third quarter 18-11 and the fourth 12-9. Listen to the crowd and look at the faces on the Giants. Well, the start of their season was a tough one. If you cast your mind back to round 2, they had nearly all their team out with COVID. Lost a few games on the trot there, and then once they got their players back and they settled into some sort of rhythm, they've found themselves in this position. Let's get down now to Caitlin Bassett is with the MVP. No shockers from the Giants side.
I'm down here with Maddie Hay. The atmosphere down here is absolutely incredible. We can't even hear ourselves. Tell us what this win means to you and your team.
It means so much to do this in front of our home crowd. Last year, the past 2 years, we've obviously been playing in Hub, and last year was a few of our girls' first finals, and we did it in front of crowds that were against us or no crowds at all. And to come here and win today is so special for all of us girls, all of our members, and all of our family.
It was a tight first half, and you came out and piled on 18 goals to 11 in the third quarter. What was said at halftime?
Our season was on the line once again. There's been a lot of halftime talks where our season's been on the line. So we're really used to it, and we were just excited to come out and give them everything we had.
And you don't just do a huge work in attack, you actually pulled out 3 intercepts of your own today. For me, I think the turning point was that one that you took in that third quarter. What goes through your mind when you switch into defence?
I've come from a defensive background, so I'm just so hungry for intercepts, and I still have that measure of a successful game is still how many intercepts I get, and I'll never be able to get that out of my head.
This is true. Well, next week, prelim final, Vixens in Melbourne. You haven't beaten them this year, have you? Tell us about what you need to do this week to get there.
Vixens are such a classy team, and we're going to need to have 4 full amazing quarters to be able to beat them. And I think if we're going to save our best win against them, it's going to be this game, and we're really excited to give it a go.
And finally, there's a stand up there with your name on it. I don't know if that is legit or not. Maybe I'll just put a sign on a stand. Who's up there supporting you today?
I have so many friends and family here today, and they are so amazing. I'm so happy they came, and thank you to my family who made the sign and for all of you to come today. So special.
Congratulations, your captain is waiting to give you a big high five, which is well deserved. Good luck next week.
Thanks so much, Zeba.
Thank you to Caitlin, and a big congratulations to Maddie Hay and the Giants as they roll their team song again. I have a feeling that is going to be playing long into the night here. In contrast, have a look at the faces of the Collingwood Magpies. They know that's their season over, and it was such an emotional couple of weeks. They got through by the skin of their teeth last week to even make the finals, and now out in that first week again. Could it have been different if they didn't have so many players coming back from COVID? Well, look at the faces here though. You can't take away from the Giants and what they managed to pull out in that second half of netball. Sam Pullman, we mentioned, well, Caitlin Bassett just brought it to Maddie Hay's attention. They haven't beaten the Melbourne Vixens yet. Obviously, still just getting over this game. At what stage do they switch into that mentality and another big game that's got to be played in a week?
You're right. I think tonight they'll go back to the change rooms and go back to the clubhouse and really celebrate this finals win with their family and friends, because you've got to enjoy and acknowledge the emotion that comes with finals. But you're right, they've got a huge game up, so I think switching on to that tomorrow into Vixens, who will be ready and hungry to respond. But a close game by Giants today in finals, I think will bring them into good stead against Vixens next Saturday.
Yeah, great practice, isn't it, to be up against a couple of the best teams in the competition. And they'll have to knock off the Melbourne Vixens before they then get to the West Coast Fever. Let's have a look at the match stats. And the shooting percentage was down in the 70s. That lifted throughout the game. Is there anything else that stands out to you, Sam?
Well, look, turnovers aren't too high when we talk about a 60-minute match and a game and a contest like this. The penalty is quite high, though, and a really close contest. Surprising to me that Giants only shot in 84%, because that's very much unlike them.
Yeah, well, let's have a look now what that means to our road to finals. We showed you at the start of the game. Here it is. So the Melbourne Vixens will now play the Giants, the winner of this minor semi-final next week. That game will be in Melbourne. The winner of that game will then travel to the West Coast, to Perth, to play the West Coast Fever, who have already gone through to that grand final. So 2 more massive games of netball to come.